Good morning. Have you ever noticed how the most influential people in your life, the ones who move you, inspire you, challenge you, aren't necessarily the smartest, the wealthiest, or even the loudest? They're the ones who carry something different. They show up with energy, with belief, with hope. They radiate something so simple, yet so rare, positivity. And I want to be clear, positivity isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's not about ignoring problems or sugar-coating failure. It's about the way we choose to see, respond, and lead in the face of those problems. It's the courage to believe in what's possible, even when circumstances say otherwise. That's the power of positivity. Start with the why. So let me ask you, why does positivity matter? We live in a world that moves fast, pressure is high, deadlines are real, disappointment is inevitable. It's easy to default to cynicism, easy to complain, easy to point fingers, easy to say, well, that's just how the world is. But leaders, real leaders, don't just react, they choose. They decide what kind of energy they bring into a room, into a team, into a vision, and that energy either builds momentum or breaks it. Positivity is not just a mood, it's a strategy. It is a leadership philosophy. And most importantly, it is a daily decision. When we choose positivity, we are saying, I will not let my environment define my spirit. I will define it. The biology of belief lets go deeper. Do you know what happens in your brain when you choose a positive outlook? Neuroscience tells us that optimism activates the part of the brain responsible for creativity, resilience, and long-term thinking. It opens us up. When we believe things can improve, we begin to notice opportunities we would have otherwise ignored. On the flip side, negativity shuts us down. It puts us in survival mode. It narrows our view. We become reactive instead of proactive, protective instead of progressive. You've seen this happen on teams. A leader walks into a meeting with fear, frustration, and doubt, and the whole room tightens up. Creativity disappears, energy drains. But if that same leader walks in with calm, with confidence, and yes, with positivity, people breathe again. They engage, they contribute. One mindset infects, so does the other. A tale of two cultures. Let me tell you a true story. Two companies, same industry, similar markets. One thrives, the other folds. The first had incredible talent, competitive pay, strong funding, but a toxic culture. Leaders who led by fear. Every mistake was punished. Every decision questioned. The result, people stopped trying. They played it safe. Innovation dried up. The second company had less funding, more setbacks, and even more reasons to complain. But they had something else, a leadership team that built their culture on trust and belief. Mistakes weren't seen as failures, they were seen as data. Employees were empowered to speak up, take risks, and find solutions, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Same challenges, different mindset, different result. Positivity, in this case, was not about naivety. It was about clarity. Clarity that says, we are building something bigger than this moment, and we will not let fear lead the way. The myth of the positive leader now. Let's address the myth. There's a lie that says positivity is for the weak. That strong leaders are tough, ruthless, stoic. That vulnerability and optimism are liabilities. But here's the truth. It takes strength to stay positive in a world that constantly tells you to be negative. It takes discipline to believe in people even after they've failed you. It takes vision to see potential where others see problems. Positivity is not passive, it's active, intentional, and contagious. The ripple effect. Let's say you're a manager, or a teacher, or a parent. Maybe you're just a friend someone deeply trusts. What happens when you start choosing positivity? Not once, but consistently. You shift the atmosphere around you. You give people permission to believe in themselves. You make it safe for others to try, to fail, to grow. You stop managing people, and you start inspiring them. That's the power of positivity. It creates a ripple effect. One small decision to believe, to encourage, to hope. It multiplies, and the best part, it starts with you. How to lead with positivity even when it's hard. So how do we lead this way when life doesn't go our way? Here are 3 practices I believe in. Name the reality, but speak the possibility. Yes, be honest about what's not working, but don't stop there. Ask, What's still possible? What haven't we tried? Who haven't we asked? Choose your words like they matter, because they do. The language you use either builds trust or breaks it. Instead of saying, "This won't work," try, "What can we try differently?" Instead of, "That's not my job," ask, "How can I help?" Protect your environment. Surround yourself with people who lift you, not because they flatter you, but because they remind you of who you are at your best. Stay rooted in a mission that's bigger than your ego, and protect your own mindset like it's a competitive advantage, because it is. A final thought: when people remember you, they won't remember your title. They won't remember your resume. They'll remember how you made them feel. Did you bring light into the room, or did you take it away? Did you believe when it was hard to believe? Did you model hope when others gave up? That's what makes a leader worth following. The power of positivity is not about ignoring reality. It's about redefining it. It's about seeing the world not just as it is, but as it could be, and then showing others how to get there. That is the kind of leadership that changes cultures, transforms teams, and shapes futures. And it begins with a single, radical choice: to believe in yourself, in others, and in what's possible. Positivity is often misunderstood as simply being cheerful, smiling a lot, or having an upbeat personality. But real positivity, the kind that shapes culture, fuels performance, and defines leadership, is much deeper than a mood. It's a decision, a conscious, daily choice. Great leaders understand that they don't always control what happens around them. Markets change, teams face setbacks, plans fail, emotions rise, but what they do control is how they respond. In that moment of choice, between reacting or responding, between fear or hope, between doubt or belief, leadership is born. You don't need a title to lead. You don't need a corner office, a degree, or decades of experience. What you need is a mindset that says, "I will be intentional with the energy I bring into the room." That's what separates those who simply manage from those who truly inspire. When we treat positivity as a mood, we give it permission to come and go based on our circumstances. We become reactive, unstable, and inconsistent. But when we treat it as a discipline, it becomes a foundation, a way of thinking, speaking, and showing up regardless of what life throws at us. This kind of positivity isn't fake. It doesn't deny reality. It acknowledges pain, setbacks, and uncertainty, but chooses to lead through them instead of being defined by them. That takes courage. It's easy to be negative. It's easy to point out what's wrong. It's easy to play the critic. What's hard is being the person who sees the opportunity in the struggle, the lesson in the loss, and the strength in the setback. Real leaders know that the tone they set becomes the tone the team adopts. When a leader panics, others follow. When a leader believes, others begin to believe. This is not about hype, it's about clarity, consistency, and character. You can walk into a chaotic situation, and your calm belief in the team can shift the atmosphere. Your words can create space for ideas. Your mindset can give others permission to think bigger, try harder, and rise higher. That's not magic. That's the ripple effect of choosing positivity with purpose. This is especially true in tough times. It's when things aren't going well that people look to leadership the most. And in that moment, they're not looking for someone who has all the answers. They're looking for someone who won't lose sight of hope. Someone who still believes progress is possible. Someone who refuses to let fear drive the ship. So the next time you're in a position to lead, and that might be today, remember this: positivity isn't what you feel. It's what you choose. And when you choose it consistently, you don't just change the day. You change the culture. When we talk about positivity, it's easy to dismiss it as mere good vibes. But in reality, optimism is a powerful catalyst for human performance. It literally reshapes how our brains work, how our teams collaborate, and how organizations innovate. Here's why choosing positivity isn't just a feel-good strategy, it's a competitive advantage. The neuroscience of an open-mind positivity activates the brain's prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for creative problem solving, forward planning, and complex decision making. In a positive state, we're more willing to explore new ideas, connect disparate concepts, and see opportunities where others see obstacles. That aha moment, when two unrelated thoughts click together, happens far more often in an optimistic mindset. Contrast that with a negative or anxious state. Fear triggers the amygdala, our brain's alarm system, and pushes us into survival mode. Suddenly, our focus narrows to immediate threats. What could go wrong? How do I protect myself? In that tunnel vision, we stop searching for possibilities. We start guarding against risk. As a result, creativity stagnates and teams become risk-averse. By fostering positivity, leaders open the gateway to exploration. They invite experimentation, curiosity, and play. They give people permission to ask what if, instead of settling for we can't. Building resilience through optimism, creativity is only half the equation. In any ambitious endeavor, whether launching a new product, entering an unfamiliar market, or simply changing the way you work, you will encounter friction. Without resilience, those setbacks become showstoppers. Optimism, however, builds resilience. When we believe that challenges are temporary and surmountable, we interpret failures as data points rather than dead ends. We ask, what did we learn? And how can we pivot? Instead of whose fault is this? This mindset shift transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Consider a team facing a major project delay. In a negative culture, missed deadlines breed finger-pointing, disengagement, and even attrition. In a positive culture, the same setback prompts a rally. People offer creative workarounds, volunteer extra effort, and draw on each other's strengths to get back on track. That collective tenacity is born of an underlying belief that the goal is worth achieving, and that together they will find a way. Progress through collaborative energy. When creativity and resilience converge, progress accelerates. But collaboration is the spark that ignites them. Positivity fosters trust. People feel safe sharing half-formed ideas, admitting doubts, and asking for help. This psychological safety is the bedrock of high-performance teams. In practical terms, optimistic teams hold brainstorming sessions where wild concepts aren't shot down but built upon. They celebrate small wins, reinforcing the belief that every step forward matters. They encourage cross-discipline dialogue, knowing that breakthroughs often emerge at the intersection of diverse perspectives. This dynamic environment produces two essential outcomes: iterative innovation, small experiments, rapid feedback loops, quick learning cycles, sustainable momentum, ongoing motivation fueled by early wins and shared purpose together. These create a virtuous cycle. Positivity spawns ideas. Ideas confront challenges. Optimism turns challenges into growth. Growth energizes the next round of ideas. A call to action. So how do you put this into practice? Model curiosity. Ask open-ended questions and celebrate the answers, even the crazy ones. Reframe setbacks. When things go off course, lead with "here's what we've learned," instead of "here's who's responsible." Highlight incremental wins. Make progress visible, no matter how small, and link it back to the bigger vision. One of the most overlooked truths in leadership and personal influence is this: your mindset is contagious. Whether you're leading a team, managing a classroom, raising a family, or simply showing up as a friend, your energy affects everyone around you. And positivity, authentic, grounded, and intentional positivity, can be the most transformative force you bring into any environment. We often underestimate just how much power we hold in our everyday interactions. A single comment, a subtle expression, a moment of genuine encouragement. It doesn't seem like much, but these are the seeds of influence. They create either safety or tension, motivation or discouragement, belief or doubt. And it all begins with how you choose to show up. The energy you bring shapes the room. Think about the last meeting you attended or conversation you had that shifted your mood. Maybe someone walked in frustrated, cynical, or disengaged, and without saying much, the whole room felt heavy. Now contrast that with someone who entered with confidence, openness, and enthusiasm. The air changed, didn't it? That's the ripple effect. Whether we're aware of it or not, We're constantly broadcasting something to the people around us. Our facial expressions, our tone of voice, even our posture. These subtle signals create atmosphere. And when we lead with positivity, we make it safer for others to contribute, take risks, and grow. You don't need a title to lead. Positivity doesn't require authority. It requires intention. You don't have to be the manager to uplift a team. You don't need to be the teacher to inspire a student. You simply need to be someone who chooses belief over bitterness, gratitude over complaint, and solution over blame. In fact, some of the most powerful change agents in any organization are not the ones in charge. They're the ones who consistently model hope, speak life into challenges, and embody what's possible. This is the kind of leadership that begins within. The kind that says, I will not wait for others to be encouraging. I will go first. I will speak truth, build others up, and keep the bigger picture in mind, even when it's inconvenient or unnoticed. How to lead the ripple so? How do you lead with contagious positivity without being fake or forced? Here are 3 simple, powerful practices. Speak life, not just facts. Yes, acknowledge reality, but also highlight strengths, progress, and potential. Use language that builds confidence and inspires forward movement. Be the calm in the chaos. When stress is high, choose presence over panic. Show others what it looks like to lead with clarity and conviction, even when things feel uncertain. Celebrate effort, not just outcomes. Recognize people for showing up, for trying, for learning. When people feel seen for more than just results, they stay engaged and empowered. It starts with you. If you want to change a team, a culture, or even just a conversation, start by changing the energy you bring into it. Positivity is not about being naive, it's about being intentional. It's about refusing to let fear, frustration, or failure be louder than purpose, hope, and belief. So lead with positivity, not because it's easy, but because it's effective. And because when you lead that way, others will too. That's how transformation begins, with one person who chooses to believe that better is possible. Let that person be you.